Okay, so the first two episodes of Hawkeye came out. They were pretty good. They're really based, just kind of like I thought they would be. They're based on that 2012 to 2014, 2015 run. I really like that run. Even the like the opening scenes and stuff like this. All the I don't know what you call it, text, I guess. Um, they're all reminiscent of that comic book because it has a kind of a blocky, I don't know, Andy Warhol kind of feel to it, and and I like that, and they showed that in the show there. I'm gonna run down the my top. I called it 11 and a half points that I think will happen. Well over half of them have already occurred. So the first one, and again, I did this, I guess, premonition. I did this based on the comic books. I had seen one of the trailers. I think since then, and I only made my video maybe a couple days ago. Um, but since then, I did go and see some of the other trailers, and they were a little better and did show some of the things that I predicted. So, well, whatever. But most of the stuff comes straight out of the comic book. So, that there'd be a tracksuit mafia, and we definitely have that. And they use the words tracksuit mafia to describe them. That there'd be a lot of bros, lots of bros, bro this, bro that, bro the other thing. Um, I don't know if that's. It's supposed to be I think a uh, Russian or Ukrainian thing, but I don't know if that's the case. I have a lot of friends from Russia, and I've never heard them say the words bro. But maybe that's some kind of stereotype that I just don't know about. But yeah, lots of bros. Lucky the pizza dog, man, they had Lucky. She saved him, um, and he was eating pizza in her apartment above the pizza. That's a departure from the comic book. In the comic book, Clint Barton lives in the pizza place above, or the apartment above the pizza place. Hawkeye gets beat up a lot. He got beat up a bit here. I think he's going to get beat up a lot, a lot, a lot. I'm telling you, the guy's just going to take a beating. Basically, this is what he's doing when he's not an Avenger, and he's just a normal person, and he just gets beat up a lot. Madame Mask, Eleanor, or Kate's mom, she was in it. They haven't said she's Madame Mask, but she's Madame Mask. Don't be surprised there. Um, Val's in it. We didn't see Val, so that's a not a done yet. So there's four and one against. Black Widow 2 is going to be in it. There's five, one against, two against. Echo. So Echo showed up at the end of the second episode, and they don't call her Echo. They don't really say much about her, but if you watch closely, so the gentleman who's talking to her, one of the tracksuit mafia, I think the head of the tracksuit mafia guy, um, he's talking to her, and he's on purpose kind of enunciating his words. And the reason he's doing that is he's trying to get her to read his lips. Now, when people do that, it makes it harder to read lips. I'm partially deaf from my time in the military, and I read lips. They really don't, like, if I don't have any sound, I don't catch the words. But it helps augment your hearing. And so when he's doing that, doing those major enunciations, it's not helping. And she kind of just goes, "Just leave me alone." But you notice she touches the speaker, and you don't hear sound or anything, but she's feeling for sound. That's what she's doing. You can feel the thump, right? Let's see, Hawkeye death, that was in there too. Um, so Hawkeye is probably closer to like me. So again, explosions, gunfire, that kind of thing. And being around aircraft, that takes your sound, your hearing, and so they kind of. She asked about why he had hearing aids in, which I don't like wearing mine. It makes the ringing worse, but whatever. Um, she asked him why he had the hearing aids in, and he kind of did a flashback of these explosions and stuff, and he said it's too complicated or too hard to talk about. The next one I have is all the bad guys are run by the kingpin. That's not been proven. The next one is the kingpin is going to be in the show. That's not been proven. And then the quarter ones that I added, 11 and a quarter was that there would be a dog POV episode. I hope so. And that there would be a deaf POV episode where the whole episode is in silence and their sign languaging. So those are the predictions we've gotten so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 out of 11 and a, 11 and a half. So if we want to call it 13, we could. I don't like that number, so I called it 11 and a half. But basically, there's 5 left to come true. I think they all will. I want to do a quick breakdown of the show. I like the show. I see why they released it in 2 episodes. They did that with WandaVision 2. Because really, those first 2 episodes is building the world and the relationship, and so I like that they did that. It kind of explains where Clint's at. It explains where Kate's at. So Clint is back from fighting Thanos. He's a regular person, and he wants to be a regular person. So many of our first responders, our military members, they're the same way. They kind of want to be left alone after they come back. And even this, I wear a hat that says veteran on it. But this is 20 years after my service. When I first came back, I let my hair grow out. You can see my beard here, and this is over 20 years of beard growth. but I couldn't leave it that way, so I kind of went back to my flat top haircut. Actually, after only 2 years, I just didn't like the long hair. But you'll meet a lot of guys that do. They just let it go. Guys and gals, I'm sorry. And they just want to go back to their civilian life. Remember, civilian life has moved on, and so people don't understand that. And this is where Clint's at. He wants to return to a civilian life, but he has this time where, as a civilian, he became Ronin. He went to the worst place because his family disappeared. Thought they were dead. For many of us, we come back from service and boom, we found that our whole life walked away from us. We don't have a life. If you serve 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and come back, all the people that you knew when you left, let's say you left in high school, well, they all have jobs and they've gone down and become productive members of society. Well, that's basically where Clint's at. So the next thing was so they kind of jump into it. He's trying to get some daddy time with his family, and the family that disappeared. That for them, no time has moved, but he lost 5 years with them. And so he just knows that life is fleeting, and he wants to have a Christmas with his family. And so they come to New York, and they go to see a Broadway play, and it's a Broadway play of him and his team. And so it's tough. It's even tougher on him. He's watching the Black Widow up there on stage. And he knows Tasha wouldn't like that, and he doesn't like it. But worse, it just brings back all those memories where he was willing to die to bring his family back. He was willing to die for his adopted family, the Avengers, and the world and the universe. That is pretty grandiose, But imagine our military is more than willing to die for their country, for their countrymen, for their friends and their family. But let's say you pick it up a notch and say the world. Wow, that's a pretty heavy thing to put on your shoulders. But the universe, half of the universe, wow. Seconds ago you didn't even know there was a universe, and now you're willing to die for it. And then Tasha was equally willing to die for it, maybe a little bit more. She ultimately did, and so seeing her on stage has got to hurt. And so then you know, he goes to the bathroom, and as he's going to the bathroom, here's a thing that says Thanos was right. And he's just like, criminy. And then a guy does the ultimate urinal faux pas. So if you are, this is the guy rule. This is the very basic. I guess for the show we call it the bro rule. um, you you don't take the urinal next to the other guy unless there's no other place to go. The bathroom was empty. The guy had the whole bathroom to go to. And so as soon as he goes next to Clint, he was like, "Oh, great, here we go." And he asked for an autograph, for a selfie. I'm like, "Oh man, I I I I had the luck of meeting Stanley. My name is Stanley, and I met Stanley Lieberitz, and I was at the Stanley Kamikaze, which was in L.A. And first off, the guy was older than I. I walk with a limp from broken knees, and I'm much younger than him. And he shows up and asks where the bathroom was, and I point him in a direction. I help him find the latrine, and he thanks me and goes in. Now, I waited outside the bathroom. Gosh, this is embarrassing. I waited outside the bathroom and got his autograph when he came out. And I had a pen ready. I had a comic book ready. My Spider-Man comic book, the first appearance of the lizard, and I got the guy's autograph. But I didn't go inside. I boy, oh boy, that's some ballsy things to hop into the urinal next to the guy and ask for an autograph. I felt like a giddy kid following Stan Lee. So anyway, yeah, wow, like the ultimate bathroom faux pas, guys. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. So then I really liked that. He had to step out. He was suffering. He didn't like this Broadway show. It brought back too many memories. And the daughter was now old enough to recognize that and empathize with him, and came out and talked with him. And I thought that was a pretty good. He may not have recognized that, but it was a good daughter dad kind of interaction. And then the Ronin suit shows up. The way Kate got that was pretty interesting. And folks, her mom is Madame Mask. She's running the tracksuit mafia, and she's probably running Echo as well. We're not going to know that Kingpin's running her probably until the last episode. But I'll tell you, Echo is a really cool character, and I like Echo. I think she's Cheyenne. I'm Cherokee. And so I'm really on all levels connecting with this show. I think she's part Cheyenne and part Hispanic, and so her dad was killed by the Kingpin. Her dad was an assassin, and she's been trained by the Kingpin and previously by her dad to be an assassin herself. A Kingpin adopted her, and she became the Kingpin's adopted daughter, and all that. So we could juxtapose Echo with Clint with their hearing loss. We could also kind of juxtapose Echo and Kate Bishop. They're both had their dad pass away. They both had extremely trained. So Kate, you saw all of the awards and everything for her, and so that's pretty cool. Now, what I didn't see coming, and this is a blind side for me, and I'm kind of happy. We saw both swordsmen. So the swordsman is a good guy and a bad guy. That's Kate's stepdad. He's basically, I guess you call it, anti-hero. And he dresses very much like Clint Barton did when he was Hawkeye in the beginning with the purple and that kind of thing. Them sword fighting was kind of cool. So then we go to him meeting Kate, and that's the end of the first episode. We get introduced to that tracksuit mafia. Then we pop into the second episode, and it's just takes off right from the first one. So him taking off her they keep calling it a ninja suit, her mask there. Um, and yeah, that I think all that was pretty cool. Um, the way she saved Lucky, and then put him in her house. That's how the tracksuit mafia found her. Um, so then they go back to her house. They discover that the tracksuit mafia knew where she was at, knew her name because the name's on the buzzer. um, and then they throw the Molotov cocktails, and he throws it back to him. Her mom calls with. So then they go to the safe house, and the safe house is kind of cool. You might not have noticed the name on the door, and now I can't think of her name. Son of a gun! I should have wrote that down. But it's the young lady. She was an old lady that was a silent movie star in the comics in West Coast Avengers. Clint and team kind of crash at her mansion, and they end up crashing there the rest of the time. But she passes away during one of their, I think the first or second West Coast Avengers comic book, and he made her an Avenger as she died in his arms. So it's kind of cool that's the house they're crashing at. I think that's kind of neat. Oh, let's see. Kate's mom calling her and pumping her for information. That's interesting. Ronan getting blamed for the father's death, but then Kate seeing the candy wrappers at the crime scene. I guess and then realizing it was her stepdad that killed his dad. That was interesting too. And I Clint basically doing a Natasha, and his conversation with his wife was pretty good. He's not keeping any secrets from his wife. Everything that happened while she was away, he caught her up on. She knows about the tracksuit mafia. She knows about all of Natasha's little schemes, and that he's going to run that scheme. So basically, he's trying to get caught, and he left enough clues so the tracksuit mafia could find him. I think all of that was really, really good. So ultimately, I think the TV show is doing well. I think it's a countdown as well. That's kind of cool. So I think the last episode will be on Christmas. So what they're doing is they're saying, okay, you've got 5 days to come and catch up with the kids. So this is going to be a mad rush of them trying to get this done so that he can go back and be with his kids on Christmas Day. And I predict it's not on the list, but I predict he will make it. I think he probably will have wanted to be in the hospital 6 times before he makes it. So he will get beat up a lot. And I think Echo is going to be one heck of an adversary, where the tracksuit mafia are just, Russian mafia or something. She's different. She's a monster. She's a killer. And in the comics, she's a Daredevil villain. And so, if I remember right, so I like Daredevil, but it's been a long time since I've read this one. I think it was early 2000s, and I liked her specifically. But when she was introduced, this is like the quintessential every Daredevil introduction of a female character is this way. Daredevil meets him as a Daredevil. Daredevil meets him as Matt Murdock. The deaf guy falls in love with the beautiful woman, or a blind guy falls in love with the beautiful woman that he can't see. Everybody's jealous of him with the beautiful woman. And then we discover actually, she's the bad guy that he's been fighting before. So he knows, but she doesn't know. In this case, I think, yeah, I think the same thing. She's deaf. Um, they fall in love as Matt and I think her name's Maya, and then they fight as Echo and Deadpool. And at some point, they both realize, oh hey, that's whatever. Now in the comics too, Kingpin had told her that Deadpool had killed her dad, and so it tore up inside. Ultimately, they break up, but then she finds out that in fact it was Kingpin that killed her dad. Also, it is kind of interesting. In the comics, there was a new Avengers. I don't forget why, but every now and again they have to make new Avengers. The whole concept of Avengers and of the Justice League is to sell comic books, but to bring them all together, do great big grandiose things so that they can sell the lesser character comic books. Um, so Captain America was a one that sold really good. Hey, but nobody knew who Namor was. Nobody knew who some of the other characters were, and so they're like, okay, well, we'll just jam them together. Iron Man, whatever, and we'll now people will buy this other comic book because they're interested in what's going on with the character because of what's going on in the Avengers. New Avengers was kind of the same thing. They had Power Man, Luke Cage. They had, I think they had Wolverine. They had Doctor Strange. They had Ronin. Nobody knew who Ronin was. It was a secret. Um, and they just had a whole bunch of folks, and so that was kind of the idea. Hey, we'll jam them together. And at some point, it's discovered that Ronin wasn't. Some people thought it was Clint Barton, and it was Echo. Uh, I think Captain America's been Ronin. I think a couple of characters have been Ronin. So, but yeah, I don't know if they just pass around the suit. I don't know how it works, but but yeah. So it is kind of interesting that she's the villain or one of the villains on the show because she's also going to be probably Ronin at some point. Also, they are making a an Echo TV series, so if you like her from the show, once we get into it, yeah, she's gonna work out and be somebody, be another show. So you'll get more of her. So that's all I have. First impressions there. I really didn't dig into. I didn't slow anything down. I've watched it one time, but I'm sure I missed a whole bunch of stuff there. Um, enough to fill up 6 videos, but already I'm getting 20 minutes here, guys. So if you have any questions, point them down there. I'll answer them as best I can. Like I said, there was a whole bunch of cool stuff there. One of the things that was interesting was it said Avengers on it, I think, and it was the watch, and that's what the bro mafia, the tracksuit mafia was trying to get there. Um, I wonder if that's Tony Stark's. Remember, at one point, Tony Stark had a watch, and he kind of did like this, and it was the repulsor. I wonder if that's. I think that was in. Blah, blah, blah. I guess it was in Captain America, the Civil War. I think that's where it was, where he just kind of is like beginning to use nanotech, and he kind of was able to go. Boop, there's a repulsor, and I wonder if that's what that was. I don't know. If the tracksuit mafia is, I don't know, in the TV series. So I don't know. Remember, we're talking about multiverses here, so I don't know how closely tied the Kingpin is going to be to the Deadpool universe that they had. But yeah, I don't know. But if they're closely tied, Kingpin got from Vanessa, his wife. He got, I think it was cufflinks. So those could be the instead of cufflinks, maybe they have a watch from her, or his dad's watch, or something of that sort. I don't know. Now I have to go watch the Netflix series and see how that went. But definitely, it could be like a memento or something from the Kingpin wants back. Since they were selling things like Ronin and like his cool sword, it could have something to do with that too. So that's why I kind of thought maybe the Avengers, maybe that Tony Stark cool repulsor watch, and the reason I think that is that could lead into the armor wars that they're going to be making, as well as Ironheart, which they're going to be making. So, all right, guys. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, down below, and thank you for watching.